stay or should I go?
Welcome one and all to the PSDOVITO podcast. This is podcast number 8 and I am here with my co-host Robert Rage.
Yo. So you're getting?
Massive welcome from Robert Rage there. I know normally we have quite a bit of humour throughout the podcast normally. However, this time round we're going to take it a little bit more seriously, as the subject we're going to be talking about is something that does need to be spoke about very seriously. We're going to be talking about the attacks in Paris by the terrorists this week, and not so much just about the attacks, but we'll be talking about terrorism in general and, you know, the causes and effects of terrorism. So, Dan, do you want to open us up? Let everyone know what we're talking about exactly.
Well, it's ISIS, the terrorist group in Syria, in Iraq. Cold-blooded bunch of people. It's tricky.
Say what you mean. Say what you mean.
Well, I don't really know what their objective in life is. It's like they're just put on the planet to cause heartache, you know, almost. It's like they're not really human beings with any real thought or emotions. It's like they just don't care, and it's really hard to believe there are people like that exist.
Go on. So it boils down to the same thing as it is everywhere, yeah, but it's some different things. It's down to territory, it's down to owning something, having power over people and an area. You know, it comes down to that animal instinct of there's a tiger, and this is that tiger's territory, and he wants to own that territory. Yeah, and exactly for his group of tigers to stay in that territory, you know. And
but they've got their own fucking territory, they've got their own fucking country. Why don't you just stay there and leave us be? Leave other people be?
Because they want more, and it's within that country that they're trying to get the power and the control, but they also want the power and the control over the rest of the world. It's I'm not having a go at Muslims as a whole. This is part of it is Muslim thing of they don't want the other religion. It's all about their religion and how they see the world. You know, and I'm like I say, I'm not having about all Muslims. You know, there's hundreds of thousands, millions, if not Muslims that are perfectly fine. You know, it's like we know a few ourselves. You know, like Tate Ali. Tabs, you know, two of the loveliest human beings I've ever met in my life. I absolutely love both those guys. You know, absolute diamond. You know, but they're both Muslim, and they, you know, and believers in Muslim, and they follow the faith. And you know, I love those guys. You know, it's not about Muslims that are the problem. It's about the people that use the Muslim faith as an excuse for power and control, you know, over people and over territory. And that is basically a lot of what it boils down to. I mean, obviously broadens out into the whole spectrum of political reasoning and religious reasoning. You know, that's what ISIS is about. It's the same as any terrorist group. It's about their core ideas and beliefs, and the fact that they will go to whatever lengths to convince the rest of the world that they are right and that this is the way of life. And if you're not part of them, if you don't fit in with that, then you're not, you know, you don't need to live. You can take it back to Hitler with the Jews, you know. It's the same thing. If you didn't fit his belief structure, if you didn't fit his idealism, then he wasn't part of his world. You know, it's the same thing.
Yep, and that's what it boils down to, really. That is the core of it, is religion. And
It's not
that
just
is,
religion.
I know it isn't just religion, but that is a main part of it.
Yeah, religion is the basis of it because of the belief system that they're all fighting for. But at the end of the day, they're they're fighting for power and control, and to say that their religion is the most dominant. I mean, it's like you look at the IRA, you know, going back all these years with the Catholics and that, you know, that's a religious war, and all the terrorists and that, and it's all about religion, you know. And yeah, religion is the excuse that everybody uses, and religion is the basis of what caused the conflicts between certain groups of people. But the core of it is greed. The core of it is wanting to own more than everyone else and be in control more than anyone else. And yeah, it is a lot to do with religion. I mean, that is, religion is the major cause of war throughout history. As far back as history goes, religion is the biggest cause of war and conflict, and they're still using it today.
And neither one of us are religious. I've got no, like, I've had discussions with religious people, and it's like they're a completely different world, completely different mindset to my own. I am more a believer in people, and facts, science. And I don't know. It's. I told you this would be tricky. It's tricky for me. I don't know. It's weird.
It's a tricky subject. Religion's always tricky.
Yeah.
Because, like, I am an atheist. Yeah, I don't believe in God. I have absolutely 0% belief in God, a higher deity, some greater power. I know, like, I am as sure as I'm sitting here in this wheelchair, as sure as I'm smoking this cigarette, and as sure as I've got a cup of tea in front of me, I know there is no God. That God is not real. In my world, in my head, and I can say that confidently to any number of people, like a number of atheists, you know, and a number of other people that their belief system teeters on, well, I'm not really sure. However, when it comes to certain people, you know, really close friends, close family, people that you like, trust, get on with, you know, when they rely on religion to get them through the day, when they rely on religion as a belief system to keep them on the straight and narrow and to motivate them and to keep them going, that's when I have trouble being an atheist. Because, like, going back years, yeah, I would have happily had the atheist argument and ripped the religious guy to pieces. I did. But as I'm getting older, it's, well, that's their belief system, that gets them through the day. You know, is it really for me to put that down and try and destroy that for that person? You know?
It depends on the person, and like obviously if it's family or a friend, I understand that it's, you know, you'll sort of bite your tongue. But if they're pushing the issue and trying to force religion on you, then it's like you feel sort of backed into a corner, and that's when you sort of feel like you should say something, you know, because like they're trying to force their opinion on you, their belief on you.
Yeah.
And that's when you sort of, well, I don't believe in it, and then they're like, well, why? And then that's when the conversation starts, and that's when the debate starts, and, you know,
Yeah, and that's it, though. That's it. That's when they bring it on themselves, and it's a two-way street. That's
Yeah.
just they ask for it.
And by
But
that point, you've said, look, you believe in what you believe, I believe in what I believe. Let's just leave it at that.
yeah, but you will get the relentless Bible bashing people that are just like, you know, have to convince you that you're wrong. You know, and it's like, I mean, I could sit here and go into the whole atheist argument and, you know, talk about flying teapots and green mice and fucking,
Talking snakes.
the spaghetti monster and things like that.
Adam and Eve.
Yeah. Well, we could get into all that and talk about all that and do the atheist argument, but at the end of the day, everybody with, you know, a good understanding of reality will know where we're coming from. Anyone that doesn't, you know, anyone, I'm not saying they haven't got a sense of reality, but if they've got that belief system, then they're not going to give a shit what we say anyway.
That's it.
You know, that's their belief system, and like I say, now I feel like, well, is it really up to me to take that belief system away from someone? You know? But at the same time, I feel, because of reasons such as religion being the major cause of war and the major cause of conflict in the world, a world without religion would be a better world. But it's how many people need religion to get rid of that. There's still too many good people that do good things that need the religion and believe in the religion. So how do you take religion away from the bad people without taking it away from the good people?
You can't. And then there'll always be religion until the end of the world, mate. There'll always be religion. It will always exist.
I think it will phase out. Honestly, eventually the world will smarten up enough to know that, hold on a minute, you know, this ain't some master plan, there ain't some big magic man in the sky, you know, just gonna sort everything out. He ain't, you know, he's got a plan to make everything work. I mean, were these Paris attacks part of God's plan or Allah's plan, or depends what deity you go with, don't it? You know, what religion you're with. It's like, alright, so if there's all these gods, which one of them has got the right fucking plan? Yeah? And basically, that's all it comes down to is people going, oh, I like that geezer's idea, I'm going to listen to him. You know? And it's just groups of people. I don't know. I can't take it away from certain people, but I do believe the world is a better place without religion. And I think with attacks like this on Paris, I don't think there would be as much, because, you know, there wouldn't be the conflict. But at the end of the day, I say religion is the excuse. It's always going to come down to power and territory control. And that's what it's really all about. So even if you took religion out of it, you're still going to get a group of people here that don't get on with a group of people here, but they all live in the same place. So this group of people is going to want this group of people to fuck off. And it's going to, you know, and this group of people is going to say, no, we ain't going to fuck off. And then you're going to get that war all over again. You know? It's... ISIS is a terrorist group. They use religion as an excuse to do the things they do. You know, and these attacks themselves, I think, it's like, what was, go back 2 weeks, yeah? And if I asked you your opinion of France 2 weeks ago.
Well, some people feel more strongly about it than others. Yeah, I mean, 2 weeks ago, you know, a lot of them are very poncy and arrogant and ignorant. But they do bring a lot to the world, you know, fashion, culture, certain films. So you know, an honest opinion would be a mixed bag with France. It wouldn't just be like they're shit, I don't like them. You know, I don't wish harm on anybody. You know, not even, well, maybe ISIS, but that's kind of the point. It seems like it's fucking ridiculous. Like, you take one motherfucker out, and there's always another motherfucker to replace him. It's fucked up, man. They spend America, England, other countries that are involved in that conflict, spent years hunting Bin Laden down. Finally got him, and then, like, you know, there's always someone else to replace one cunt.
Of course it is. It's like any company. You take, you know, you go to a bank, yeah? If the main bank manager dies, there's always an assistant bank manager that's going to fill his shoes. You know, it's just how things work. There's always going to be that guy who's next in line. You know? Like
So, and that prompts the question, why don't America just push that button and bomb the whole fucking country? I understand that innocent people will die, but then you've got to think about, what about the 100 odd people that died in France a couple of weeks ago, or last week, whenever it was, you know, and the people that have been attacked in London, and the you know, even fucking 9/11, you know, even that still, you know.
Well, even the day before the Paris bombing, ISIS killed 40 people and injured 200 in Beirut and Lebanon, and that was the day before the Paris attacks. Now, you haven't heard as much about those attacks because Paris pretty much dominated the news when it happened, right? But yeah, I mean, they're hurting people all over the place, and it is kind of like you say, weigh it up. I mean, I mean, they're innocent people. Who are we to say, oh well, let's sacrifice X amount of innocent people to save X amount of innocent people's lives?
Well, just to stop it altogether.
Yeah, just to stop it.
I know it's extreme, but what is it gonna take? You know, like, you've got civilians, and then you've got prime ministers and presidents. Is that what it's gonna take for them to kill someone quote unquote important? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying, obviously, civilians, you know, people like me and you, we're obviously important, you know, but is it gonna be where they get someone important, you know, in quotes, obviously, you know, because I consider everyone important, but that's, you know,
a leader, like if they blew the Queen up,
that would be enough.
They blew the Queen up, the people going to fucking uproar, and all the goody two-shoes and all the do-gooders would go, no, fuck them, didn't it? You know?
Yep.
And I don't agree with bombing innocent people. I don't. I kind of, it's that, what you said though is, how, you know, what's the weight on either side of the scale? You kill X amount of innocent people in that country by bombing it, but you save how many lives?
In the long run.
In the long run. But with that said, would bombing that country even do anything? You know, I mean, you've got to think, these guys, they ain't all in that country. You know, they're all over Europe. They're all around Great Britain, all around the States. You know, these guys, you could bomb that country, and you could have a major impact on a lot of what they do. But it wouldn't stop it.
Mm.
All it would do is make it harder to find certain people, and it would motivate them more, probably, to just be even worse than they are at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's a bastard. He's a complete bastard, fucking thing.
It almost feels like they're trying to start a world war as well by going to these different countries and doing what they're doing. You know,
Yeah.
because it isn't just in London or America. You know, it's and Paris. It's all over the world. You know.
Yeah. This is what they want now. They want our countries to use up our resources. They want our countries to exhaust our military capability. Yeah. Because if we're out doing all this, fighting all these wars, it's less that we've got when they actually attack.
Yeah.
They do want a war. They do want the world to go to war. But there's enough sensible wedded countries. I mean, you see the Paris thing, yeah? Sydney Opera House, went all fucking French flagged up. Everywhere went French flagged up, all around the world. You know, everyone went, yeah. But you can go back, like I was saying earlier about having an opinion on the French 2 weeks ago.
Mm.
You know, I grew up in a world where the French were cowardly yellow bastards. You know, they were stuck up, punchy people that all shared one hole in the floor for a toilet. You know, it was stupid shit that I heard when I was a kid. You know, the food they eat is like horses and snails, and you know, it's all the stereotypical shit that you hear. You know, you grow up and it's like, oh, I was a massive fan of Married with Children, Al Bundy, growing up, and like Al Bundy would constantly have a pop at the French people, and I thought it was fucking hilarious when I was a kid, you know. And like obviously, now I'm older, I see the humour in it for what it was now, and it's still funny now, but for different reasons. But
Yeah.
growing up, it was always like, yeah, French people were, you know, not to be liked or trusted, you know. And
Yep.
I've been to France several times, and I have had several bad experiences with French people, you know, being stereotypically French, as in being ignorant and rude, you know, and stuff like this. And like I've been to the French market where they've got cages with rabbits and budgies and stuff like that in it, and I'm like, oh look, it's a pet shop. No, it's not, mate. No, you go, can I have that one? They snap the cunt's neck and throw it in a deep fat fryer. It's like, alright. You know what I mean? To me, it was like a pet shop.
Mm.
And, you know, all these things, like my experience with France growing up, you know, I had a lot of bad experiences with it. But when I was about 15, I think, I went to France with a school, and I was up in a bedroom, like I slept in, and everyone else, and the teachers and that, fucked off out on the coach, and I was the only one in the hotel. I woke up, couldn't find fucking no one. I wondered what was going on with that. I ended up talking to the manager or whatever it was at the place. He said, yeah, they've gone out on the coach. Like, oh no, he left me at sort of thing. But he took me to do archery, rifle shooting, pistol shooting, and a couple of other fucking things, and I had a wicked time. Now, and this guy, like French geezer, he was brilliant, and that really changed my perception of the French people, you know, a lot. But even going up to like 2 weeks ago, I would still happily, you know, joke about the French. You know, like we go to IBW and they've got that French referee Artemis, you know, and there's the wrestlers making jokes about it and the people in the crowd making jokes about you know, they're doing French and stuff like that, and it's always been that way, and I never thought I would, you know, support France or put a French flag on anything. You know, if France are in the World Cup or, you know, rugby or anything, I'll never support France in that stuff, you know. But when this happened, everyone on Facebook was doing the old French flag thing with their pictures, and I went, you know what, go on then, I'll do that, bam, and I did that, and you know, it's human compassion. It's not about, you know, race. It's not about individuals. You know, for me to be that way with the French people is essentially on a lot of levels, you know, very, very scaled apart levels, the same as these extremist Muslims saying, well, we don't like the rest of you because we think this way about you, you know? And you can't think like that because that's what leads to these wars. So, yeah, I don't think like that about the French people. Now, I don't think I will ever joke about the French people the way I have done in the past. You know, something like this brings people together, and it makes people realise that we are all the same. You know, and I think that's what the world needs to understand, is that we are all one thing. We are all the same. Yeah, and this world's not ours. This world is a living organism in itself, and like, I can say it like this: we are a disease on the planet. We are like a cancer, we're like a bacteria that has just spread and grown and slowly is killing the world. You know, is what we're doing. But we are so much more than that as human beings. Our capability for thought, our capability for culture and art, you know, and to be able to create is what takes us apart. But with that ability, we should take better care of the world we live in, you know, and we should take better care of each other, because there is no point us destroying other people. What's it going to do for us long run? Well, you can destroy the bad people. I'm not one of these people that doesn't believe in violence per se. I think violence in the right, you know, in the right context is acceptable. You know, I would have no problem, like that Hardy John or whatever his name was, you know, the guy that was famous for fucking up all the Americans in the videos and all that, fucking up all the hostages and all that. You know, if he'd have been in front of me, you know, and I'd have had something I could smack him around the head with, you know, I would have actually done that, and I'd have beat the geezer to death. No, I'd have no qualms about that. I would beat the geezer into his head. There's a bloody pulp on the floor, and I would have no qualms whatsoever about that. I'm not against violence. I don't, you know, but violence when it's necessary. And I think in cases like this, violence is necessary, you know?
Definitely. I think Australia have got it right. I think that's the biggest problem with countries as well, is the fact that, I mean, we're getting into a different kind of subject now, and that is illegal immigrants, or immigrants in general. I honestly believe that a country that doesn't let illegal immigrants in is safe. And obviously you're still going to get fuck-ups and silly people, you know, but you're going to be a lot safer from people like ISIS coming in and bombing, you know, a crowd full of people.
Yeah.
you know. And I'm not against, don't get me wrong, I'm not against immigrants coming over here and, you know, working and paying their way and being part of England, you know. I'm not against that at all. But when you're letting people in left, right and centre willy-nilly without really properly checking who they are, what their history is, that's when you start to go wrong, and that's when it starts to fuck up, and that's when people, innocent people, start to die. And that's just,
Yeah.
you know, that's why, that's my biggest sort of problem with immigrants. You know, obviously I know there's other ways and means without doing it the legal way, and that's how some of them do get in, but still, that's where you need to sort of tighten up border control and, you know, hire more people or just have more people,
Yeah.
like securing the borders sort of thing, you know.
And that's again, mate. So that boils down to that base argument of it's territory and control. Yeah, we want to close our borders or whatever so that we can protect our territory and control what goes on within it. You know?
Yep.
And that's our way of going about it. And with ISIS, it's a very similar thing. You know, but they go a fucking totally different way about things. You know, and it does all, like I say, everything boils down to the basics of not even animal stuff, but you can go right down to bacteria. Yeah, bacteria finds a spot, reproduces, takes over, wants control, wants its own borders, wants everything else. It is the very base of biological warfare. It's the very, you know, biological, like how diseases work and how anything works. I know the thing with immigrants is, yeah, I can understand there's a lot of them that want to get out of these countries because of the way the countries are, you know, and who are we really to say you can't come here? You know, it's like I said, this world belongs to everyone. This world doesn't belong to anyone. We belong to the world. Yeah. Who are we to say that they can't, you know, come in?
Who are we not to say though?
Yeah. I mean, it's our
Why not completely close our borders to protect our people, our country, our land? Why not?
Because that is what we have to do. That is the way the world is. We do need to protect.
Tell you what, if it was me, if I had the power and the control, not control, but if I had the power to, like, I would fucking put fences up all around the fucking land, big giant fucking fences that were electrified. That's what I'd fucking do. Get over that, you cunt.
Yeah, but that would cost a fucking lot of money, mate. Huh?
Yeah, I know, but
It's probably the sort of money you ain't got as a government.
maybe not, but still.
But yeah, and I don't know, you can't really stop people getting in. They'll find a way, you know. And it's like, it's our country. You know, the Americans, they say that's their country, but how did they get that country? You know, they went in, they committed mass genocide and murdering untold of Native Americans. You know, America got their country by effectively being terrorists. You know, Australia was built on the back of British convicts. British convicts went in, mullered a load of Aborigines or whatever, you know. And England, even us, you go back, who's to say, well, why is this bit of land our bit of land? Because this group of people we want the power to control the territory. yeah, that
Mm.
those people happen to be a monarchy, yeah, king and queen, whatever, yeah. Nothing belongs to anybody. None of it, you know. But obviously, there does need to be control. There does need to be order. So you do need governance. You do need people in control. And you know, say, all right, well look, this bit of land can hold so many people. This bit of land has got this much resource. So we can only allow so many people onto this piece of land, you know, and that is a reasonable way of saying, well look, we've got to control the numbers, you know. It's, the world's a fucked up place we live in. It's understandable that, you know, we have these rules, we have these governments, but to say that certain people cannot live on a certain part of land because it belongs to us.
It's not about that. I said I'm not against immigrants. It's people that are here to fucking civilians, innocent people, because they want control, whatever it is. That's my problem.
Yeah.
You know, it's border control not being strict enough, maybe, or I don't know. It's fucked up.
People are so smart about these criminals, these terrorists. They're so smart. You know, they're not dumbasses. They're people that have got plans and have got educations and they know what they're doing. You know, they've been taught ways around things, ways to do things, and it's like, there was like, you go back, say 9/11 and, you know, things like that, where every single bloke in a turban was getting pulled over.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? And it's not fair on a lot of these guys, you know, because a lot of them, well, fucking a hell of a lot of them, are not terrorists.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
But they look the part. They've got a beard and a turban. He must be a terrorist. You know? That's
Yeah.
the thing. It's like, right, pull him. Must be a terrorist. You know? If a man in a turban got on an aeroplane, well, probably still, people still have those thoughts now. That was happening big time. You know, after 9/11 was, alright, anybody that looks the part is a possible terrorist. And how do you deal with that?
I honestly think that war or terrorism will never stop. It may change in terms of what people's beliefs and their main goal is, but I don't think that it'll ever stop, because there'll always be someone in the world that wants more and feel like their belief is the most important and the most valid.
Yeah, well, there always will be, mate. Always will be. You know, even like, if you just take something as simple as wrestling, yeah? And I'll say, I like Mr. Perfect, and Lee goes, oh, well, I like Bret Hart, yeah? So we had, you know, like going back when we was kids and that, and you've got that, well, I believe in this guy, and he believes in another guy. You want to put that in terms of a religion. You know, we've got our own gods, we've got our own what people we follow, you know, and there's always going to be conflict, there's always going to be difference of opinion, but it's when we can learn to live with that difference of opinion. You know, me and Lee eventually came to the conclusion, you know, well, I actually, you know, like Brett and he actually likes Mr. Perfect, and, you know, or whatever, or we can agree to disagree about certain things, you know, and that's what it needs to come down to. It's the world needs to realise that it is a big fucking melting pot of cultures, sexualities, lifestyles. You know, you go back so many years, not even that far back. I mean, it's still pretty bad today, but you look at homosexual community, you know, it's like they're only just starting to be really accepted by the mainstream and by a lot more people, you know, just go, well, look, it's just as normal as anything else,
Mm.
you know, and you know, different races, you know, it's like the Muslim faith, all the stuff they do, you know, it's that years ago was like way out there, but now it's like, you know, it's common to us. We've adapted to having that around and understanding their culture and their custom, you know, and that's what people got to understand is the world belongs to everyone. The world is not one group of people's place, and we need to embrace other people's cultures, other people's lifestyles, and, you know, just take the best of everything. And as long as people are happy and productive and are helping others to be productive,
Mm.
then let them be who they want to be. Let them believe what they want to believe. But it's when it becomes a problem, you know, when it becomes an excuse to cause people harm, an excuse to start a war, that's when a belief system, that's when a religion or a race is wrong, you know. When people realise that we are all human beings, you know, like when the major consensus of people realise, and don't get me wrong, probably the major consensus of people do realise that and do feel like that, and it might be the minority, but that minority are the bastards that are going around blowing people up and causing shit,
Mm.
you know. It's the small-minded people, it's that closed-minded people, and this comes down to religion again. It's a case of they've got blinkered vision, you know. So if you talk to a Christian about God or something, he will undoubtedly and blindly defend his faith and his God, you know. And it's the same for the Muslims, but they're using it the wrong way, and they're taking the wrong aspects of what that religion represents.
I don't think, personally, it's about necessarily embracing certain cultures or religions, but just to simply accept them.
Yeah.
But there are people in the world that I'll never accept and never embrace, and that's a different podcast for a different time. But
Yeah.
I do accept different religions and cultures and ways of life. I don't have any problem with religious people. You know, you crack on with your life, I'll crack on with mine, and you know, that'll be that. That's the way I live my life. I don't force my opinion on anybody else about my beliefs. I will talk to it with people, but I never sort of force it down their throat. You know, I never sort of go, oh no, well, God isn't real because of this, that and the other, because that's just not the way I am. I just, you know, you believe, I don't. Simple as that.
Yeah. And I'm happy for people to believe if it gets them through the day, if it gives them strength. If that's what helps them, then let them have that. No, I'm not going to take that away from them. But I would take it away from the people that abuse it and use it as an excuse. But that's the thing. That is the thing, ain't it? Is where do you draw that line, and where do you say, well, look, yeah, it helps a certain amount of people, but it's usually causing more problems than it's doing good. You know? I don't know, but basically, mate, I think this ISIS group could do with all being put into a big shipping container and dropped into the ocean. Maybe even fill it up with petrol and set it on fire before you throw them in there.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I wouldn't disagree with that at all, mate. They're animals.
I wouldn't blink an eye,
No.
At that happening to those people, because they've got no problem with doing that to other people, you know. But I don't know, does violence beget more violence, you know? We do that, they retaliate, blah blah blah, until there's no one left. Who's the bigger force, who's the bigger side, who's going to go to the more extreme lengths? They are. They're going to go to the more extreme lengths. Unless we're backed into a corner. I mean, you look at the biker gangs, you know, I think it's the Russian biker gangs, gone over, fight ISIS and all that, so...
Yeah, Russia's a different breed, man. Certain parts of Russia, that's yeah, they're probably worse to some extent. Obviously, they're not suicide bombers, but they are ruthless.
Yeah.
And yeah, probably just as aggressive, if not more so.
Alright, is it wrap up time?
Yes.
Yeah. Alright, don't blow me up though, because just being offensive.
Alright.
Right, ready? Alright, so this has been the PSDOVITO podcast number 8. This has been quite an interesting subject, and we hope you'll all come back and join us for the next podcast. Leave some comments, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and we'll see you next time on PSDOVITO.
Should I stay or should I go?